Hi everybody, today is Tuesday, it is December 8th. One of my favorite songwriters is Bob Dylan. How can you be a more prolific songwriter than Bob Dylan? His career stretches from early 60s, like 1962, and his latest record came out just earlier this year, I think in August. But his career took a lot of turns and twists, and he actually put out 3 Christian records in about 1979, 1980. And on one of those records, he has a song called Serve Somebody. And the premise of that song is quite simply that everybody has to serve somebody. He says, you're going to have to serve somebody. It may be the devil or it may be the Lord, but you're going to have to serve somebody. And the verses of this song basically say, you might be this, you might be that, you might be rich, you might be famous. Doesn't matter. You're still going to have to serve somebody. And the premise of that song and those words remind me of something that Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount. This is in Matthew chapter 6. Jesus says, no one can serve 2 masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve, Jesus gives an example, you cannot serve both God and money. So no one can serve 2 masters. And how you spend your time and your behavior are probably going to show what master you actually serve. And sometimes somebody might say, this is the master I serve, but their behavior and how they spend their time actually betrays the fact that that's the master that they serve. That they might say they serve God, but their whole life points to the fact that they serve money. So Bob Dylan points out, everybody serves somebody. You're going to have to serve somebody. And Jesus points out, you can't serve 2 masters. Everybody only serves 1 master. Now, both of these things came to mind, this verse from the Bible and this song by Bob Dylan, when I watched a movie recently, and some of you may have watched it as well, entitled The Social Dilemma. Now, it's on Netflix, and this movie is all about social media and how it is affecting the way we live, how it's affecting behavior, and particularly about the people who design and develop social media platforms and technologies and things like that. And this is a good movie to watch if you are a person who uses social media frequently, or if you have children who use social media frequently. It's quite eye-opening because the people who are interviewed in the movie are a lot of tech insiders, people who work for companies like Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, people who worked for these companies in the past. And they share some of their insights and experiences in how these technologies are designed to manipulate and take over people's lives. For example, a former Facebook worker in the movie described their goal like this. That the company says, let's figure out how to get as much of this person's attention as we possibly can. How much time can we get you to spend? How much of your life can we get you to give to us? Now doesn't that sound like serving somebody language? That this company is thinking, how much of your life can we get you to give to us? And another tech worker in the movie talks about how social media developers use insights from human psychology, how our brains work, to plant unconscious habits into users. They're using our own psychology, our own weaknesses against us in order to modify our behavior and to, again, capture as much of our time and attention as possible. And over time, this begins to change our behavior and change our thinking. And those are the goals behind the scenes as these tech companies are selling exposure to users to these advertisers who are the real customers in this scheme. Now, some people might say, isn't social media just a tool? I mean, it's a tool, it's there, and it can be used for good or it can be used for bad. I do agree that social media can be used for good or that it can be used for bad. But one of the people interviewed in this movie suggests that it's wrong to think of it as just a tool. He says a tool is something that is sitting there and you can use it when you want to, as you need to. But it's not a tool if it's something that is actively trying to manipulate you and that has goals of its own. So it's important to be aware of what we're being involved with. And from also even a more practical standpoint, looking at the effect of all these things on young people, the people in the movie point out these technologies are not designed with the protection of young people in mind. They're just designed to capture attention and behavior. And there's lots of research out now. The movie talks a little bit about it. There's a lot more research outside of the movie that I've looked at as well that shows that social media really modifies and takes over kids' sense of self-worth and identity. And in fact, it's pretty telling that a lot of the people who develop and manufacture these technologies say outright that they would not want their own children using these platforms. So that's kind of sobering. That causes us to pause for a moment and think, how are we using these things? Why are we using these things? What are they doing to our lives? Now, I like that this movie is called The Social Dilemma. I think that word dilemma is very important because what a dilemma is, technically, is a situation in which you have two possible options and they're both bad. That's what a dilemma literally is, that you're coming to a fork in the road. You can go this way and you can go that way, and you look both directions and they're both bad directions. And if you apply that to using social media, then you think, okay, using social media, there's downsides, it's bad, but also completely not using it when there are benefits to it. Being connected with family, especially family that's far away, being connected with friends. So not using it entirely is also bad. So it really is a dilemma. And what it demands is wisdom and being aware of what we're using, why we're using it, how we're using it. And this gets us back to that Bob Dylan idea that everybody is going to have to serve somebody. That by what we're doing, how much we're doing it, the way we're doing it, we're showing who we're serving or what we're serving. And when something takes so much of our time, our attention, there comes a point where it starts to look like, well, maybe we're serving this thing. I'm reminded of something that Barbara Brown Taylor, the preacher, said. She said that addiction is anything that fills the empty space in our life that belongs to God alone. That if you use that kind of definition for addiction, fills the emptiness in our life that belongs to God alone, then a whole lot of things in our lives start to look like addictions. Remember that Jesus says that we can't serve two masters. Can't serve God and money, can't serve God and shopping, can't serve God and TikTok, can't serve God and other social media. Nobody serves two masters. Either we are devoted to the one and hate the other, we love the one, we despise the other, but we only each serve one master. And God wants something better for us than what social or digital media can offer. And the Bible invites us to know the God who has made us, who loves us, the God who sent Jesus into the world for us. And here's what Jesus says: I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. I have come that they might have life and have it to the full. There is only one master that we can serve that gives life instead of takes life, and that master is Jesus Christ. Have a great week, and we will see you again soon.